In this hyper-connected, ultra-globalized, some say post-American world that we find ourselves in, it's important to protect our nation and its interests. And while that's a very complicated issue to wade into, there's one issue connected to that that isn't complicated at all. America's trade deficit.
The trade deficit.
The U.S. trade deficit.
Our trade deficit.
Most concerning trade deficit.
$400 billion a year imbalance with China.
Now, lots of people of all different political stripes make a big deal about the trade deficit. But what does it really mean? The Wikipedia definition of the trade deficit is the difference between the monetary value of exports and imports of output in an economy. For example, this year, our trade deficit with China hit an all-time high of $51 billion in March alone. So that means in March, we bought $51 billion worth of stuff more from the Chinese than they bought from us. That's so imbalanced. But the problem is it doesn't actually mean anything. And people use China as the boogeyman for everything.
But people use China as the boogeyman for all their problems. In the 1980s, it was Japan.
Yeah, I just said that. The reason we buy a lot of stuff from China or anywhere else is because we're able to get it from them more cheaply. The reason they don't buy as much stuff from us is because their economy isn't developed enough to afford a lot of the products and services that we provide. But as China or India or whomever becomes more wealthy and better developed, in the long run, they will buy more stuff from us. Think of it another way. Every week I go to the grocery store and buy $50 worth of stuff. So that means every year I have a $2,600 trade deficit with the grocery, right? No, of course not. I give them money and they give me groceries. A better way to think of it, rather than a deficit, is that I have a grocery surplus with the grocery store. But don't just take my word for it. Let's talk to economics expert Dr. Ike Brandon.
The best way to think of the trade deficit is that every dollar people in the United States spend on goods abroad, that money has to be spent by foreigners on one of two different things. Either they're going to buy our goods and services from us, or they're going to buy capital investment projects in the United States. They're going to buy United States bonds, they're going to buy GM bonds, they're going to buy some kind of stock in a U.S. company.
Note that the trade deficit is not the same as the budget deficit, though the two are easy to confuse. Now that's its own issue and we're not going to get into it today. The important thing to remember is that where the trade deficit is concerned, it doesn't actually mean anything.